I'm going to go ahead and give the floor over to our special presentation for Sonya Wilmoth, the Director for the Center for Sexual and Gender Diversity. Sonya, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, and then you should have the ability to share screen if you need. I'll stop, and you can go from there.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you all for inviting me this evening. I appreciate the invitation and the opportunity to talk a little bit about our center and what we offer. And I'm going to try to share screen here. Let's see what happens. Actually, I need to put presentation mode. I'm working with one screen tonight instead of the 5 that I'm typically. I feel like I'm always using more than one screen. So I'll leave it like this if that's okay, if you all can see. So yeah, just real quick. Again, my name is Sonya Wilmoth. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the director of the Center for Sexual and Gender Diversity. Many of you I know, I recognize some names and faces. But one of the things that I think Sean asked me to come and speak about is a little bit about our center, the history of it. We are actually celebrating our 20th year of existence this year. So that's been a big a push for us, and also will be highlighted in our celebration of LGBTQ History Month in October. We will not only celebrate LGBTQ history in the national sense, but we will also dive into the history of the center at Penn State and LGBTQ organization beginning in the 70s with the HOPS organization and whatnot. So for those of you who are not familiar, we are located in the lower level of the hub. We are across from the bookstore. We were in Buki Building and outgrew our space. So the number of students who were looking to use our space to find community in any of the events, our staff grew. So we were running out of office space. So we were fortunate enough to be have renovation of the Paul Robeson Gallery downstairs. So if you haven't been to the center, everything is brand new. It's amazing when you walk in. I think people, especially faculty and staff, are kind of amazed at the atmosphere that our students have. The picture on the top is of our, the more, we call it the rotunda area, a little bit quieter, and the picture on the bottom is more the student area where students are having conversations. We do some of our activities and programming down there. So thinking about, I'm going to go back, some things that we offer. We have the themed months, as I mentioned earlier: LGBTQ History Month, Trans Awareness Month, Black History Month, Pride Month. We also celebrate Women's History Month. And thinking of student programming, which is Eric Duran, who is our interim assistant director, also the programming coordinator. He works with our peer education piece, mentorship, discussion groups, and Queer Peers, which is our first year cohort program for students who are new to the University Park campus, whether from a change of campus, first year student, or a transfer. This year we opened that up and really gave, we allowed and really marketed towards the students who were first years last year who didn't have the on-campus experience. We felt that that was really important to include them in that discussion in all of those programs. So we work with other partners on campus as well as the community to do collaborations. We own the clothing transit, which is an opportunity for our trans and non-binary students who may be looking to with regards to their expression with clothing and can't afford that transition. We do have the clothing transit where students can get free clothing. It's located actually in the bottom of the basement of Written Hour. Tonight is actually one of our late nights in the center. So our center is open Wednesdays from till 8 o'clock. Let's see. So Safer People, Safer Places is our faculty, staff, and graduate student education arm of our mission. So the information, advocacy, and education is part of our mission. And this is one of the pieces that I'm extremely passionate about, because I feel as though the education of our faculty, staff, and graduate students really does enhance the experiences of our students in classrooms and offices and in all of the areas that they have to maneuver during their day or during their time on campus. Going back to that. So we do offer a foundations course, and then we also offer transgender and gender inclusion 101. We will be having some advanced workshops that are in the works right now, the intersections of identity. We are working on an advanced ally workshop, and also we are planning some lunch and learns for the month of November. So those are actually up on our website. If you go to the Be Informed tile under faculty, staff, graduate student workshops, the registration links. We actually have one tomorrow morning at 8. So again, we talk about the months, LGBTQ History Month, Transgender Awareness Month. One of the big, typically in each one of the months, we have a keynote speaker. Trans Awareness Month is the time for one of our favorite pieces of programming, which is the Trans Vigil that we do in the worship hall at the Pasquarilla Spiritual Center. So that's an opportunity for us to acknowledge and celebrate in the way that we can celebrate the lives of our trans individuals who died by violence over the past year. So that's a really big piece of our programming, and one that we look forward to during November. Pride Month we celebrate in April, because Pride Month is actually June. So we celebrate in April, and actually I think one of the interesting things that I have found is when I came here, we celebrated Pride Week, then we moved it to a month, and it was in March, and then we moved it to April, and now the university has declared April as Pride Month. So I think it's interesting that now out of our office has grown this larger acceptance and grabbing a hold of April as Pride Month across campus, which is awesome. The Out and Engage experience is one that prior to COVID, we actually took 2 trips, one to New York City and one to Philadelphia, to get into the archives in Philadelphia at the William Way Center. We had our students had an opportunity to see the archives, learn a little bit more about LGBTQ plus history in Philadelphia and more of a local Pennsylvania context, but also what happened in Pennsylvania and Philadelphia influenced Baltimore, Maryland, and some surrounding cities. New York City, we did a queering of the Met tour, so that was really interesting. We get about 30 students for that every trip. We're hoping to continue that for the spring. So our graduate programs that we started during COVID, we actually asked for money specifically for graduate programs, because we were hearing from graduate students that they had a very different need than our undergraduate students. And we tried to meet those needs and have the programming and funds available to create programming specifically for our grad students. This year, we have hired 3 graduate students on staff to do that and to work with the graduate programs to create programs. So we've done coffee chats, film festivals, and whatnot. Those are in the works right now, and I believe there's a questionnaire out there to gauge the interests of grad students and what they would like to see from our office. Some of our support programs are our discussion groups, and again, the clothing transit. We have our peer education piece, which is our student voice panels that go into classrooms. 2 to 5 students will tell their story and allow classroom students to ask questions. We also, through our peer education, provide student ally workshop opportunities. And then again, mentioning that we do late nights in the center on Wednesday night. I will say that there is a petition out now amongst the students to extend our hours. They're looking for 24/7. which actually was in the conversations when we first moved into the space and were creating this space. Not sure how that's going to go. We're extremely supportive of the students and what their needs are. I think there are just a lot of logistical things that we need to think about before we actually put that into place. Mentorship programs, this gives our undergraduate students an opportunity to engage with a graduate student who identifies in the community. They create a long-lasting mentorship. We have some of our mentors have been with their mentees for 3 to 4 years. So they've actually developed a great relationship and helped the graduate students, help the undergrads, maneuver Penn State, the college years, the coming out process, and whatnot. And then the Queer Peers, as I mentioned, was our first year. So this is these are some ideas that we've done out of the closet. This was in February. Black Queer commemoration. We did one night for a late night, but these are just some of the examples of things that we've done in the past. So there's our email address, lgbtqa@psu.edu, our phone number. That's Eric's ID right there if you need to email him or myself at SRW236. And we can answer any questions or concerns or interests that you all might have in our programming or the space.
All righty. Well, thank you very much, Sonya, for that presentation. Did we have any questions for Sonya? Sean?
Hi, Sonya. Thank you so much again for coming. Obviously really excited that you're here. I just want to say that the GPSA has always been, an advocate for making this Penn State a more inclusive environment. And I just wanted to know if you, and you don't have to have an answer off the top of your head, but if you know any opportunities where we could partner with you or the areas that you want us to help you in.
Yeah, well, I think there are always opportunities with regards to, and I know this is one of the things that Claire had mentioned to us was the inclusion of the graduate students in our education program. And I think that's important to help us spread that opportunity, I guess, or availability for graduate students to go to work within our workshops, but also if any student is interested in mentoring any of our undergraduate students. I also think that being graduate students involved in student government and all that you do would be a great opportunity for our undergrad students to hear, as they think about graduating and looking beyond their undergraduate degree, moving on some direction or some, maybe a panel discussion to help with that. But I guess any support of our programs, help us get the word out that they're happening. Also, once we get our graduate programming up and running, participating in that, and we will be more than happy to get all that information out to you all.
Thank you so much.
All right, Claire.
Hi, Sonya. It's nice to see you. I just first had a quick comment, and I say this every year, but it's just because I'm so appreciative of the work that you do. I think CSGD is one of the only centers on campus that does grad-specific programming, and it's become really a model for that on campus. And I really appreciate that it's noticed. It's definitely being modeled for other offices on campus on what they might do to specifically incorporate grad students, especially because grad students pay the fee. So it's important for them to receive those benefits from the student fee. So I just wanted to commend you again on that. I do it every year. Thank you for that work. We really do appreciate it. And then the second bit of feedback, I know you said verbally the graduate faculty and staff workshops section of the website, but it still says only faculty and staff. So,
No.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things. I've attended these workshops in the past, but I've always felt like maybe I shouldn't, maybe I'm not eligible or something. So it still says faculty and staff on there.
Okay, hold on. Are you on the Find Your Community page? LGBTQ? be informed. Can I share my screen again? This is what I'm seeing.
Sure.
Wait.
Oh, yes. Can you scroll up a tiny bit?
Probably not that I'm on share screen, but is it up there?
I see what you're I see what you have pulled up now, but I think if you scroll up, it still says faculty, and maybe even if you click on that, it might say faculty staff. But the link I sent in the chat is definitely
okay. Yeah, I can.
But if you Google it, that's what you see. Yeah.
Okay, I can take a look at that. That's should be an easy fix. I mean, obviously we do. Yeah, I know. I was going to say tomorrow in our workshop tomorrow morning, we have like 70% of them are graduate students that I've seen registered. So yeah, I can do that. I can fix that. Again, Claire, I apologize. I just when I think I have it and then I don't.
No worries, no worries. Thank you.
Oh, you know what that is? That's the heading. I can't change that. That has to go through Shay. So I can't change that piece of the website. That's why. Okay, I'll take a look at that.
Right, and Caitlin.
Hi, Sonia. Thank you so much for again speaking. I want to second what Claire said about just the way that you're including and having specific graduate programming. But I actually just had a question about what you were talking about, how we can help spread awareness about these events. So what are your primary methods of spreading awareness and spreading this information currently to graduate students?
Sure. I think so we have on our listserv, which I'm really not a fan of lists at psu.edu. I think that there could be so much a different way of doing that. We do have a graduate student list, and sometimes those emails go specifically to graduate students, and the students that are working within our graduate student programming have access to those lists. And you probably haven't seen, if you're on that list, you probably haven't seen anything yet because they're in the process of getting all that stuff together. We also use our weekly newsletter that comes out every Monday that you can email me and I can get you on the list of that, or there is a listserv request, I believe, on our website. It says if you want to be a part of the listserv, that will populate to that MailChimp. We do a lot of Instagram, Facebook, we've created TikTok, we have a YouTube channel, we have Twitter, we have 3 marketing and graphics interns who do all of our dissemination of all of our programming, but then the 3 graduate students help disseminate the graduate specific program.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
Sure.
All right, any final questions? All right, if no questions, we'd like to thank you again, Sonia, for that presentation. Really...
Thank you for having me, and feel free to stop by, come on down and see the space, and yeah, we can chat. All right, thanks everybody. Good night.